everyone, I'm Andrea from Buenas Noticias in Easy English, the channel where you can learn better English and practice your listening skills through hearing happy stories from around the world. Remember to turn the subtítulos on or off if you need to, and change the speed of the video if that helps you too. Also, check out the transcript in the description area. That might help you as well. Okay, that's all the notes I have for you for now. Let's get started. Today I have a good news story about energy, energía, and the idea is amazing. Now, imagine you're walking through a busy train station and hundreds of people are rushing, apurado, to catch their trains, coger sus trenes. Everybody's walking quickly, step after step after step, paso tras paso tras paso. Now, imagine that every one of those footsteps, pisadas, is helping to produce electricity. Yep, that's exactly what a British company called Pavement is doing. This is a really good idea. Listen, the company was founded in London by an inventor named Lawrence Kemble Cook. He noticed something simple, sencillo, when he was doing his research in renewable energy. He noticed that big cities are full of people walking every day. They're taking millions of steps every single day. So he asked himself a question. What if we could capture the energy from those steps? So instead of normal pavement, pavimento o acera, his company Pavement created special tiles, azulejos o baldosas, that go on the ground. When someone steps on a tile, it moves just a tiny bit, not enough to really feel it. But inside the tile, the small movement turns on a generator, generator, and that movement becomes electrical power. I think that's so cool. Now, one single step, un solo paso, doesn't create a whole lot of electricity, just a tiny amount. But you can imagine when thousands of people are walking across the tiles, the energy begins to add up. Each step produces a small burst, ráfaga, burst of power. And the power can be used for things like LED lights, phone charging stations, digital screens, and I want to explain screen is with an N sound at the end. Screen, not scream, screen. Also, environmental sensors. So imagine this. You're walking across the pavement, pavimento, in a park, and your footsteps help to turn on the lights in the park. That's crazy, right? Now, this technology has already been installed in a lot of places around the world, and I'm going to tell you about two examples in a couple of seconds. But I first want to explain that this idea really only works well in places where people walk every day, and a lot of people walk. So we're talking about train stations, shopping centers, malls, airports, stadiums, estadios, busy city sidewalks, anywhere where there's a lot of foot traffic, tráfico peatonal, because big cities always have people moving, people walking, people running. I want to bring to your attention, I said people walking. Even though the word is spelled with an L, we don't pronounce the L. The L is silent, so it's people walking. And also people commuting to work. Commuting is desplazamiento. So anyway, here's an example. At the London Marathon, the company Pavement installed these energy-generating tiles so that runners, corredores, their footsteps could produce electricity as they ran over the surface of the track where they were running, or on the sidewalks where they were running. And the word for surface is superficie. As the runners, the corredores, moved across the tiles, each step pushed the surface down slightly, and the tiny movement turned on the generator inside the tile, azulejo tile. Then the electricity that was produced was used to power the lights and the displays at the marathon. Now, it couldn't power the entire marathon because that's a lot of energy necessary, but it does show how large numbers of footsteps can add up. Because think about it, marathons in cities have thousands of runners, and each runner takes thousands of steps during the race. And that means millions of footsteps in one solo marathon, in one marathon alone. Another point of the technology is to make people aware of their own energy, because when people see the lights turn on because they stepped on the pavement, it helps them understand that everyday movement can produce power. And that's something going forward that we might all want to contribute to, especially as power resources are limited. Here's another example from Latin America. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in a neighborhood called Morro da Maneira, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I don't speak Portuguese. Anyway, in this community, a small soccer field, cancha de futebol, has been built with these special tiles under the playing surface. So when children who are playing football or soccer are running across the field, the cancha, their footsteps are pressing down on the tile, and each step is creating this little amount of energy, and then the energy is stored in batteries, and then at night, this stored energy, they can turn on the batteries to keep the lights on that light up the field. So that means that the kids can play soccer after dark. So they enjoy that because it means they don't have to go home so early when the sun goes down. So it's also important because there's a lot of places in the world where electricity is sometimes unreliable, poco fiable, unreliable. And solutions like this can mean a lot because they contribute to the local population being able to keep some level of power in their communities. So that's really another great thing about this project. And there's another great thing about the project. It's educating the kids, educando los niños. When the kids began to learn and understand that their running and their playing, jugando, playing, was helping to generate electricity, it made the concept of renewable energy something that they themselves could experience directly. Instead of being an abstract idea, energy became something they understood they're creating themselves. Now, nobody is saying that this type of technology is going to be able to replace huge, big power plants, huge as grandísimo, huge, and power plants, plantas eléctricas. But that's not the goal. The goal is to help cities become a little bit more sustainable in their electricity, sustainable. And it reminds people that we can all contribute even in a small way. And I like that idea. Now, I'm not really sure. I'm from New York City, but I don't think they have this technology in New York City yet. But I really hope it comes soon because I think it's pretty amazing. And I think it'd be really cool to be walking in Central Park or walking down a street and seeing a light go on here, seeing a light go on there, or being able to charge my phone at a charging station because I stepped on a sidewalk. Anyway, that is today's good news. Thank you so much for being here again. if you learned any new words or discovered something new, or if you didn't understand something, please let me know in the comments. Tell your friends about the channel, like and subscribe. Thanks again. And I would like to also say that the link to the original story came from positive.news. It's in the description. Bye!